everybody, so new review for you guys today of the upcoming animated film Spies in Disguise. So this film comes to us from Blue Sky Studios, who's done films such as the Ice Age franchise, Rio, and Ferdinand. They're also technically now owned by Disney because 20th Century Fox was bought by Disney not that long ago. And they have a lot of Disney actors in this because you got stuff like Will Smith, Tom Holland, Karen Gillan, Ben Mendelsohn. Very stacked cast, because other than those, you also got Rashida Jones, Reba McEntire, and also DJ Khaled lends his voice to this. Quite an interesting group of characters, some of them I wouldn't expect to actually be in a film. Spies in Disguise's plot centers around the world's best spy, Lance Sterling, relying on his nerdy tech officer to save the world after he's unexpectedly turned into a pigeon. Honestly, I was pleasantly surprised leaving the theater how much I enjoyed Spies in Disguise. Will Smith pretty much playing his best role I've seen him in a very long time as this really charismatic spy. He just fits that role perfectly. It's written so well for him. And also, the same goes for Tom Holland as well. Playing Walter Beckett, this odd yet lovable nerd who loves Korean dramas, but he also makes these really crazy gadgets. Very similar to his role as Spider-Man, just without the spider powers, obviously. But they just have really great chemistry, both Will Smith and Tom Holland. I think each of them bounce off each other really well and really elevate each other's performances in the movie. I really enjoyed the animation style of the film as well. It was unique enough while also having its own style and flair, enhancing some of the scenes, especially those spy elements. If you're a fan of the spy genre, especially the James Bond franchise, there are a lot of really fun winks and nods and homages to the franchise, especially that opening credit sequence that's styled just right out of a James Bond film. If you're a fan of the spy genre, you're going to find that really, really cool. I was a little skeptical going in how they were going to implement Will Smith's character being turned into a pigeon into the story, but it actually does work. It makes for some really good humor. I actually think a fair amount of the humor in this film works well. It does skew more towards the child kind of humor, but I would say that a fair amount of it also is adult leaning. There's some jokes I think that adults and kids can enjoy. It's definitely a family friendly film, so I think you can take your kids to it and both of you can have a good time with. They even throw in some pigeon sidekicks for him when he turns into a pigeon, and they all have different quirks and personality traits and abilities, which that was another surprise to me, but they actually were really funny additions to the cast. I don't remember their names, if they had names, but those extra pigeons that they threw in there, they were actually really fun characters. And another thing, I think the film has a really nice message to it. I'm not going to give it away if you want to see the film, but I was really surprised at this kind of message in a spy action movie for kids, which is kind of interesting that they put this in there, but I actually thought it was really well done. Especially compared to a film I just saw recently, the Black Christmas remake, well, the second remake, where it just beats you over the head with this message. And this film, it's very subtle, but you get what they're trying to get their point across with. And that's why I think in comparison it makes this work, unlike Black Christmas, where it's just a complete failure. And I think this will probably be the only time I ever compare Spies in Disguise to Black Christmas. Other than the being turned into a pigeon element, it is a very straightforward, standard spy movie plot, even down to its very one-dimensional bad guy trying to take over the world kind of thing. By the way, the villain of this movie is voiced by Ben Mendelsohn. And why is Ben Mendelsohn the villain in everything, basically, these last couple years? Not that he's bad or anything in most of these roles, but the dude's been the villain in Rogue One, Robin Hood, Ready Player One. You kind of thought he was the villain in Captain Marvel, then he ended up not being the villain in Captain Marvel, and now he's the villain in Spies in Disguise. Like, I get he has like an imposing voice, but he really needs to just stop being typecast as the villain and everything. It's just one of those things that drives me crazy. I think he's a really good actor in other things when he's not just the villain. But yeah, put Ben Mendelsohn in things as not the villain, please. More films for him. But yeah, overall, I honestly really enjoyed Spies in Disguise. I think it's a really fun, charming, family-friendly film that you can take any age kid you want to, and they'll get something out of it and leave with a smile on their face. If you like spy stuff or just goofy humor, I think there's something in here for you for this film. It's a really great cap-off to this decade of animated films. Really good film. I think you should check it out around Christmas time. Now that you've heard my thoughts on Spies in Disguise, make sure you leave a comment in the comment section down below. What did you think of this film when you check it out? Did you like it? Did you not like it? And also, what is your favorite spy movie? Because there's so many spy movies now. We got the heavy hitters like the James Bond franchise, Mission Impossible, Kingsman, but there are many spy films out there. I know one of the really underrated ones that I've liked in recent years is The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but that's just me. If you like any of these other ones, just name your favorite spy films, because we're talking about spies here. You know, I talk about all things movies here, so make sure we get a discussion going in the comments about it. But thanks so much for checking out my videos. I got plenty more coming out in the next couple days. You know, Cats and Rise of Skywalker both dropped this week, so expect videos for both of those. But as always, thank you so much for checking out my videos. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like, hit that subscribe button if you want to keep up to date movie reviews, trailer reactions, unboxings, and more. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.